In the previous lesson, we addressed how to create effects using blocks in the Spark AR library. This lesson will build upon that knowledge to teach you how to create effects using custom assets such as face meshes, textures, materials, and shaders. Let's get started. We've seen how quick and easy it can be to use a block to build a really cool effect. We are now going to turn to creating custom assets for our effects, and to do this, we are going to build a texture that we can apply to the face. The starting point for this is going to be on the welcome window. If I want to paint my own texture to use on the face inside Spark AR Studio, it's going to help if I have a guide to make sure when I paint that texture and apply it to the face, it aligns correctly. So to help here, we have the face reference assets that you will find underneath the Learn tab. We can scroll to the bottom and find an article here. If this article is not there, we'll add a URL just underneath this video that you can use to link through it, and once clicking on it, you'll end up here. Using the Spark AR Studio face reference assets can be a bit of help and guidance. The face reference assets include the 3D model for the mesh, which you can use to align 3D geometry to. If you have those skills, you can also build 3D stuff, but they also have the texture that's applied to the face here. I'll download this package, grab that texture, and bring it into my image editing software of choice, and in this case, I'm using Adobe Photoshop. It's going to look like this. From here, I can add new layers over the top, paint whatever custom texture I want and I like, and then I can disable the reference layout to include my transparency. Save this out as a PNG with transparency, and then from there I can bring it into the Spark AR Studio. I've created a new blank scene here to use as my base to start assembling my face texture effect. So I've exported this poptexture.png, and you will be able to download this from underneath the video. And with that PNG texture, I can simply drag it across to my asset panel and release. It now exists there as an asset that I can use inside my effect. Next, I need to add a face mesh object that I can assign that texture to. There are lots of different object types inside Spark that are generic objects, and we use to construct our effects. So we don't need to bring them in as an asset, and they all exist underneath the Add Object panel. And if I go to Add Object, I will find Face Mesh right here. So with it selected, I simply have to click Insert. And I immediately get a face mesh showing up in the 3D world. It's being filmed by the device and showing up in the simulator here. And we'll notice that it's got a checkerboard right here on it. If I were to grab the pop class asset and just drag them into my scene hierarchy here and release them just like this, you can see that the glasses have been instantiated into the viewport, but they are not actually tracked to the face. See, they're just floating around here and doing nothing. So to get the glasses to follow the face, we need to make sure that we drag the glasses up and then see if a little rectangle comes up over the face tracker, or a little line showing up right underneath the face tracker before we release. Easy? We'll then see that it has a slight little indent, and if we collapse the face tracker, it is almost like a file inside the folder, which is the face tracker to use a files management system analogy. Now that the pop glasses are underneath the face tracker, we can see them inheriting the movement of the face and following my head around as I move. See? So from here, we can start to modify the look of them. I'm going to wind down the little arrow for my pop glasses, and inside there we have the actual model itself. And if I have the model selected, then over on the right hand side, what I see is that we have the glasses already as a material, and it is already assigned to it. And you will also notice that it didn't show as a checkerboard. They showed up with this mid-gray color. If I double click on the glasses material, you'll see that it's already set to a shader of type flat with the color swatch showing up this time under the diffuse for the color. So let's get a little bit more interesting. So from here, we could also save this effect. And you will see we've made some good progress looking at textures and the 3D objects, and we can keep this and save it for publishing, which we'll get to a little bit later. But for then though, I would like to look at exploring a few more sophisticated areas of the software so we can publish things that we are really happy with. In this lesson, we learned about how to create effects using blocks in the Spark AR library and create effects using custom assets. Fantastic! In the next lesson, we will learn how to use lights to enhance your 3D effects.